And President Obama truly believes it's about him and opposition to him. It's about the president's policies. I could go down the road of discussing the racism, ridiculous charge. I could talk about the KKK and the Westboro Baptist Church and the Black Panthers and do all that on the Jerry Springer stage and how ridiculous they are. Some have a bit more of blood on their hands than others, or certainly some have blood on their hands, and that would be the KKK in their history. Awful. But you know that. And you know I'm not going to spend my life being a color. You know that. But I'm thinking the president wants to make it all about him. Always about him. Narcissistic personality disorder? I don't know. I'm not a therapist. But it's a very effective strategy, unfortunately. Roll it.
Republicans is join us. Get on board. If you're mad at me for helping people on my own, then why don't you join me and we'll do it together? We'll do it together. I'm happy to share the credit. You're mad at me for doing some things to raise the minimum wage? Let's pass a law. Republicans and Democrats giving America a raise. If you're mad at me for taking executive action to make it easier for women to find out if they're not getting treated fairly in the workplace, let's do it together. You can share the credit. You're worried about me trying to fix a broken immigration system? Let's hold hands and go ahead and make sure that this country continues to be a nation of law and a nation of immigrants. I want to work with you, but you got to give me something. You got to try to deliver something. Anything. They don't do anything except block me and call me names. And it can't be that much fun. It'd be so much more fun if they said, you know what, let's do something together. If they were more interested in growing the economy for you and the issues that you're talking about, instead of trying to mess with me, then we'd be doing a lot better.
There's so much. I just, who are the people supporting the president's policies and this type of rhetoric? I realize that when you go to a political function, even when you support the folks, they're saying the same thing over and over again. But at least when it's conservative, it makes sense. There's some logic behind it. We've gone to, he doesn't like me, you don't like me, you don't like me. If you don't like me, I mean, they just don't like me. Really? Is that what this is? Is it high school? No, Mr. President, please listen, and please don't, use your power and abuse it to go after your political critics or your critics of your policies. But Jesus, Lord, I ask for absolutely protection in every way. But I got to tell you this, Mr. President, and I hope you're listening. I know you read a lot of letters from people who are experiencing tough times and believe that a status solution, well, that's the way to go. And unfortunately, I feel their pain, but I am not going to indulge it by exacerbating it like you have with these policies, day in and day out. And then when you're, I guess you don't want to talk about 2.9% growth, but you got to blame the Republicans. It's not about ours or D's. Buffet, take it or leave it. You just heard Zine Molly and I talk about this. Parties, I have the founder's view on them, or George Washington's view on it in that way. But they're organizing mechanisms, and of course, they're Big Ten and all that stuff. And I think it's just silly, quite frankly. Politics, the speeches, and let's do this. Occasionally, you get a really great speech, and it's awesome, and I dig that. But a lot of times, it's just manufactured, poll-tested bunny stew. I'm done with that. I think a lot of people are done with that. Because a lot of people are concerned, like me, of putting a roof over their head, our national security, our culture. More abortions? There have been more abortions than jobs created. Is that right? Wow. Talk about a butcher's bill. Disgusting. And we sit there, and even when we disagree on so much, not you as Barack Obama, but you as the president with the power that sometimes, well, recently has been pulled back just a little because the court says you can't do that, but you're a constitutional law professor. Ostensibly, you should know this stuff, but you don't. If you do, bad. As George H.W. Bush would say, that bad. How dare you? But again, I don't even want to go personal, you guys. I don't know. I don't know your heart. I pray my president always wants to help people, and that he's not so in love with a ideology that he allows that to trump common sense and results. Nonetheless, it's not about you, sir.